Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and I'm back to do another About Last Nightmare. And this is where me and my good friend Nick, the last shoegazer, sit down and watch a movie together, but separately. And we message back and forth and kind of make fun of the movie sometimes and give our overall thoughts. This week, continuing with the Subspecies trilogy, or quadrilogy actually, we decided to do Bloodstone, Subspecies 2. Now, this was a first time watch for Nick. I've seen it many times, and if you watched my part of the review last week, you guys know that Radu is my favorite vampire. Um, Now, this movie was made in 1993, and it runs about 83 minutes. One of the things I was a little confused about was on the back of the Blu-ray. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not because it's very small. But it actually says it's 107 minutes. But when I put it in my Blu-ray player, I guess I never paid attention to it the other times I watched it. It came up as 83 minutes. And I talked to Nick and said, does yours say 107 minutes? If so, what does the um, Blu-ray player say? And he confirmed that it was 83 minutes. Now, I looked on IMDb, and they said it runs 107 minutes, but the DVD runs 83 minutes. So I'm not really sure if there's an uncut version, or, if anyone knows anything about that, please message me and let me know. I would love to see the uncut version of it. But, I've had it on VHS and DVD, and now Blu-ray, so I don't think I've ever seen the longer version if there is one. But as I said, this was a first time watch for Nick, and it was my pleasure and a great honor to be able to introduce this to him, being my favorite vampire film of all time and my favorite series, definitely. Of course, this stars Andrzej Hove as Radu Vladislav. I kind of told a little bit more about him in the last About Last Nightmare we did on Subspecies. So I'm going to kind of focus on a little bit different things. This is directed by Ted Nicolau and is written by Charles Band, and it's based on the original idea by Ted Nicolau. So Ted Nicolau, I had said last week when we did our review, was responsible for the other Subspecies films as well as Vampire Journals, and I said he had a hand in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He was the location sound recorder for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. One thing I also found, he was also had his hand in Tourist Trap, and he did the sound effects, which, as many of you know, of course, who've seen it, the sound effects are pretty creepy in that. So, but he also did a lot of other full moon features like Ragdoll, Bad Channels, the Dungeon Master. He did a segment called Desert Pursuit, and he also did Terror Vision, which is kind of a wacky movie, but I do like it. Now, the lead female character in the original was replaced. She was replaced for the second, third, and fourth one by Denise Duff, who plays Michelle. She did a lot of television, like Days of Our Lives and Matlock and Silk Stockings and stuff like that. She was also in a movie that I actually didn't know existed. There was a movie from the 80s, I believe, or the early 90s called Hell Comes to Frogtown, which starred Roddy Piper. I did not know they made a sequel called Frogtown 2, but apparently she was in it. and I have never seen it. Also in this film is Kevin Spiritus, and I thought he really looked familiar. Of course, he's in the third Subspecies film as well, but the reason why I thought he looked so familiar is when I was looking it up on IMDb, turns out he was the lead male actor in Friday the 13th Part 7, A New Blood. I was like, that's where I knew him from. He was also in Apt Pupil, which is it's one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. And of course, The Hills Have Eyes 2, the original, which wasn't very good. Last for the main characters, Melanie Shatner plays Denise Duff's sister, Rebecca. And the last name Shatner, of course, she is William Shatner's daughter with Gloria Rand. Apparently they were married, or I don't know if they were married or not, but they had a child. And Melanie Shatner is it. And of course she is in Subspecies 3 as well. And she's in Star Trek V, Final Frontier. Surprise, surprise. And The First Power, which is also a pretty good cult film. Now, some interesting things about this one. This was filmed with the third one back to back. And something I also thought was pretty interesting. Lisa Rinna. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with her. She's actually on the Housewives of Bel-Air, or Housewives of Bel-Air, Beverly Hills now, or something like that. And she was originally considered for a role in this film. She is married to Harry Hamlin, which Harry Hamlin sounds familiar. He was the original Perseus in Clash of the Titans. So, but yeah, some interesting things about it. Make sure you guys turn in to part 2, where Nick will give a basic plot synopsis and give our overall rating on the film. So definitely check out part 2. I will leave a link down in the description box below. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.